You are watching the Pan-African Daily TV with Dr. Susan Tatah. The Africa we want: unity, consciousness, our culture, our spirituality, our history. One Africa for Africans worldwide. Motherlands calling its diaspora home. Join my voice. Join my team. Join my campaign. Campaign 21 #1 million subscribers on the Pan-African Daily TV YouTube. Be a volunteer. Apply now. Be the new Africa. Welcome. We are live on the Pan-African Daily TV, and we have some very, very disturbing break-ins that are coming in here from Europe. And it is sad. It is such a sad day in Germany. It is sad day as a 16-year-old Senegalese boy, a child, was shot dead in a city called Dortmund in Germany. And it has been like a blackout out here, as the situation is very, very disturbing. I don't even know, I don't have words to describe this. And the question is whether on the continent, in the diaspora, Africans are killed without remorse. And a lot of people talking about this shooting. We've been looking out there for correspondence. The press reached out to us this morning to break this incident. And families are reaching out to get in contact with the families back at home or on the continent or in the diaspora, to be able to break this news that Mohammed, a 16-year-old Senegalese, was shot in the street 5 times, bullet. It is sad. It is more than any words can express this. And so I don't even know what to say. I don't even understand what to make of this or what to say of this, but it is just a black day or a white day out here. There's been a lot of protests going on in Dortmund. Dortmund is in the north of Germany. And the community gathered. The Lord Mayor called a special meeting at the city house, trying to understand and to look for a solution to what is very, very strange in Germany. Of course, we do know that incidents happen, but these ones are becoming very strange, that Germans are actually questioning what is really going on, what is happening. Our condolences, special condolences go out to this family, to the people of, how can I say, to everyone that has an empathy, everyone that thinks that something is just not right in our communities now. And so the question is, what do we actually need to be able to survive, to thrive in a situation like this, in the world like this? A lot of people are saying, or the press said, you know, it has been as if this youngster had been suffering through some traumatic or depressions or whatever. But you ask yourself, is it the sick person or the shooter that is more sick? And so we actually don't know. Like I can say, I really don't know what transpired. We're still waiting to actually get a correspondence out there. Tonight they just wailing. The whole thing is about protesting the whole day, and we haven't actually got people to speak on that. And so that's the reason why last night when we came, or night before, it was all just a question of love, unity, peace, and empowerment. Doesn't matter for whatever reason. That's just not going to. A world is not going to function where people just kill people as if like nothing happened, as if we just whip a fly passing through you, and that's a life. So like I said, the spirit is very low, and we don't know what to say. We don't know what is happening in Germany this morning. People just got up to hear this news, I think 2 days ago, that a 16-year-old was shot 5 times by the police, according to what the sources of the newspaper is saying. So, like I said, we have not actually gone into the bottom of this story until we would really have to get a correspondent out there to actually tell us what happened, what is the situation. But we're also waiting to get Patrick join us from Kenya in Nakuru City, and to tell us about Kenyans Decide 2022. And in just 30 minutes, we're going to have Nadada Vena, whom together we want to share our condolences to this bereaved family of this young guy, and also to continue to talk about the essence of our existence. What is the basic that we have to function and cohabit this space as humans? What is it that we should be paying attention to? And so issues like this are actually disturbing, as I can say. But I want to thank all of you for connecting, for joining, as we have two special guests with us tonight. Like I said, one is PK Kasarem, who has actually been following up the Kenyan elections. And like we're saying, it's still boiled down to whoever is the winner of that election. We just want peace. Now we see that we're already even dying. And like Ahmed is saying, not all German youths are suffering in Europe and America. Is not only in Germany. And so it's almost becoming as is something that is written on a signboard. But we also do understand that mistakes happen and stuff happen. But the question keeps coming up to Africans like, why? So the community is throwing out questions back to the community. People are actually looking forward to find solutions to a common way of living as humans on the planet. If you have a comment to share, we would gladly take your comment while we're waiting for our correspondents to connect with us live now. I would just be greeting every one of you that is joining us tonight to say, Kwame is saying this so-called Western Hemisphere is totally unsafe against African youths and all. That's the truth. That's the fact. Where is it not safe? Where is it safe? There are wars, there are catastrophes, there are disasters, there are diseases, there are killings, and the world is just like in a turmoil. And so, like I said, while we're waiting on our correspondence, Patrick was already here, but had a very bad network and connection. So, yes. According to the prosecutor's office, Daniel is throwing out some information about what transpired in Germany today. He said, according to the prosecutor's office, the teenager did have a knife with him when officers arrived on the scene. However, what he originally intended to do with it, whether to hurt some himself or others, is still unclear. It is possible that the youth had suicidal intentions. Okay, hold on. I want to put out this message coming out from VDR is the correspondent. Daniel Weiss is saying, according to the prosecutor's office, the teenager did have a knife with him when officers arrive on the scene. However, what he originally intended to do with it, whether to hurt himself or others, is still unclear. It is possible that the youth had suicidal intentions, said the spokesman for the prosecutor's office on Wednesday to the press. In an interview with VDR, Royal said that plainclothes police officers first tried to calm down the teenager. When that didn't work, they tried, just like, continue the statement. So as we continue to actually follow up, it would have been better if we could really have eyes here as a correspondent live to actually put a picture of what we are going through, and we're still actually going to get perspective of others, like the press, of what is going on. Like, yes, we've been hearing about those reports. Even the youth counselor of the youth department in Dortmund actually sent out a press release, and that they had been worries or suspects about, I don't know, a suicidal or whatever it is. But like we said, this information that we are getting, like from the press, or like from the voices, or like from people that are gathering out there in Dortmund, and the whole Dortmund is broken. It is a whole sad situation out there, whether it's black or white, or blue or purple, or fat or thin, or rich or poor. They just gathered to say, rest in peace, Mohammed. This shouldn't have happened. Whatever has happened to you, we're going to look for a solution. Dialogue, coming together, communication, whatever situations happen, to open up our eyes on the deficiencies that we do have in our communities. And we're still waiting on all this information reaching us. I really thank you for sharing this information out here. As we said, the left-leaning German newspaper TASS reported that 2 days before his death, he was admitted to a psychiatric clinic in Dortmund for at least one night at his own request. But because he had expressed suicidal thoughts, it is thought that Mohammed D spoke French and the Senegalese national language Wolof, which made communication with the youth centers, caregivers, and police very, very difficult. Okay. Thank you, Daniel. These are newspapers that are reporting on the incident. As we can see, and we still have more of this press coming up. So in order for us and not to actually go into this tragic, this is a moment where people just want to just chill the pain, want to reflect, want to come together, because the burial, as we are told from Dortmund by the correspondence, is that it's going to take place on Monday, as I guess. And so the whole community is just gathered at the city town center, mourning, sharing messages of condolences with the entire world and the community. Because like I said, it is so strange in Germany to have seen this kind of happenings. Of course, issues do come along. Wherever there are people, they are mixed and racist. Those things are always going to come up. But in this particular case, it is, I think, one of its first kind that is happening in Germany. And we're really concerned about what kind of thing would have happened, whatever the situation is. We're sending our condolence out there to the entire family, to the deceased, to the bereaved, to the communities out there, that we remember these families, these people in our thoughts and in our prayers. And we continue to wish for a better together living, whatever the situation of the trauma. We're also living through a very hard time coming out of COVID. It's not just 1 or 2 persons. We've understood this trauma, that the whole world was taken aback. And so it is real. It's a sick situation that we are living in, from whatever parties, from whatever happened, from whatever site it did transpired. We're calling for peace and love and unity and dialogue to reign among all of us, each one contributing and bringing their own. Thank you I think Patrick is already here to give us more. Ellen is saying, do they have body cameras to support their versions of what happened, or is it another case of God alone witnessing what really happened? And that's why I think enough of correspondence, people that are actually on the ground, could be the ones to put the picture out there in a way that we would understand. So we would be getting this correspondence in the next coming days, as they are still in this shock and trying to just lay the brother to rest, while I think a lot is still going, investigations are going up, and we are going to find out what happened. All right, so I think I'm going to bring Patrick now, connecting with us live from Kenya. Patrick, good evening. Can you hear me? Patrick? Patrick, can you hear?
Yes, I can get you. I don't know if you can get me on your side.
Yes, it's much better, but there's a lot of buffering. I think the internet is not that stable. We were just breaking this news out there while we're waiting on you to give us a feedback on how you witnessed the elections in Kenya, and we are expecting the president to be pronounced anytime soon. But we would like to hear
Yes.
also from you, even though the feeling is a little bit not really the way we wanted it, because of the sad news that we're getting from Germany, from Dortmund, and so
Yeah.
we're just giving it everything low. But in as much as you're here, we'd like to welcome you again. It's been a while, Patrick. What has been happening out there with you?
No time. Yeah. First of all, thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm so very grateful, even to the audience, to you there. In the last almost 3 to 4 months, it has been pure politics here in Kenya. So we have been engaging too much politics, groundwork, and everything to ensure that at least we change the narrative, the conversation in our country, and how these leaders, when they come in, uh, they do what we need, or what we want, especially because we are their employer. So that's why we decided that we must participate actively in this political situation, because it usually happens once in every 5 years. So I decided that maybe I should participate actively, even in our community and even in national politics and everything. So it has been a long period of politics here in Kenya. Yes.
Beautiful. You said this is happening in in the past 30 years. We've never seen this kind of elections. From your experience, I mean, if you say 30, you're not even up to 30, Patrick, you yourself.
Yes.
So you definitely had witnessed or heard something about the post-election. So from what you hear and from what you witness being on the ground, what is it that you can make as a point about that?
Yeah. First of all, especially during the electoral process, I think this year's electoral process has been very peaceful. Transparency. There's too much transparency, and it was very credible, say the least. And even the way these agents, the officials, the electoral body here in Kenya, they're called the IBC, the electoral body, they did their performance was so very exemplary, and even generally countrywide, people are feeling so very positive about the elections that they happened on 9th August. So if I could compare the election in 2013, because although 2013 I never voted, so my first time I was in 2017. Then if I could compare the two periods, we discovered that 2022 is a bit more peaceful, very engaging. Kenyans participated, although there were too low turnout. Generally, there were low turnout if you could compare between the 2022 and 2017. So 2017, there were elements of rigging and all that. that tension here and there. But for 2022, the election was very peaceful. People, I think generally everything went on so very swiftly. So that's what I would like to appreciate about the Kenyan election in the year 2022 compared to last election. Though for 2017, the opposition decided to come up with this kind of biometrics vis-a-vis the manual register, so manual voting process. But strangely, 2022, it's the opposition that they now want us to go back to the manual that they rejected in 2017. So it's becoming quite strange. But the Supreme Court, not the Court of Appeal, decided to merge the two so that if you do biometric digital, you can still do manual where the digital process has failed. Failing that's almost 5 times. So it means that using manual registers is not that very important so as to avoid this kind of double voting and even rigging. So it was generally the election was very peaceful, very peaceful. But the problem here, one of the main problem here is voter turnout. It was very low voter turnout. I think this can be contributed due to high economic situation. People were really struggling. They preferred going to work than to participate in this process. So that's some of the problem that uh, this official faced at some point. And generally, the youths, most of these people who never voted are the youths. I don't know why, but they really need some kind of civic education. So most of the population are the youth who failed to participate in this process. Yes.
Mhm. But we are getting information that it's a very tight a race. And if you look at it from the statistics, I think the number of participants and even the diaspora had to vote this time, isn't it?
Yes, yes. In fact, in this election, everyone is participating. It's so very exciting because of these political candidates. They decided to engage even those people from the diaspora, and because these people from the diaspora contribute a lot in terms of revenue collection. So the government decided that, or the IBC, the electoral bodies felt that these people should participate actively in the election process. So that's why these people from diaspora voted, and in fact, these main political aspirants, the candidates, they traveled from Kenya to all these other countries, the US, they went to UK, and meet these Kenyans from the diaspora. So you can see it's all engaging.
Mm-hmm.
These political candidates wanted to ensure that no one is left behind. Like, for example, William Ruto came up with this kind of a bottom-up economic model. So they go there and share ideas, and even these people from diaspora, because they have a lot of knowledge about economy and everything, so they can give some more knowledge or information about what we should be doing. So it's so far for the diasporans, they are so very excited, so very excited about this process.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, that's
Yes,
very good. Like we said, all we just need is to know that it doesn't matter who wins by these elections. We want a peaceful
yes,
outcome, that Kenyans would actually put Kenya first and go
yes,
back to support the leading candidate and to give him all the support that he needs, because it takes everyone to rule. It's not just about
yes,
the government and stuff like that. But there's some keywords that kept coming up yesterday when we brought the topic about the hustlers and the dynasty in the
yes,
whole Kenyan
yes,
politics. Why is this
yes.
this I think this narrative coming up so powerful?
Yes, the Hustler Nation narrative, in which, for me here, I'm the greatest champion for this kind of the Hustler Nation, because huge population of Kenyans, almost especially the youths. Most of them are unemployed, and the kind of job that they should do, these are just handiwork. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why in political movement, we are dealing with the locals. They are called the mamamboga, those people who sell vegetables in the market there. And then we
Mm-hmm.
have those people who push these trolleys, the wheelbarrows and everything. So we want to ensure that the growth of the economy of this country should be from the bottom. Those people are doing the farmers, traders, all this. So instead of focusing more on external borrowing, like what President Uhuru Kenyatta has been doing, so we should focus on creating revenue from within rather than from without. So that's why William Ruto changed the conversation, the economic model. So instead of trickle down, whereby the few people at the top they contribute revenue to the millions of Kenyans. So it will be millions of Kenyan generating revenue. So and that's what even Joe Biden is using currently. The bottom up, then bottom up economic model. So that's what even Joe Biden is doing. So that's for William Ruto decided to come up with this kind of economic model, unlike the predecessors like Moi, Daniel Arap Moi, Jomo Kenyatta, uh, Kibaki, and all those. So they decided they have been using this kind of trickle down. So
Mm-hmm.
we are trying to change the conversation. And the good thing about this kind of economic model is that many Kenyans are now focusing more on economy rather than this kind of tribal kind of alliances. Because
Mm-hmm.
most commonly, uh, the political situation here in Kenya are very tribal. So the communities between the Luos, the Kikuyus, the big tribes, then you discover that the small tribes, like the minority, like for me here, Turkana come from a very minority minority tribe. So we are left behind. So we are becoming like those people contribute some percentage of votes. But the good thing about the economic model is that it covers everyone because everyone suffers at the bottom of the economy. No tribe, no nothing, just
Yes.
personal. So that's why, in fact, the bottom-up economic model has helped in improving the stability, peaceful coexistence in Kenya. So if you vote for somebody, you are voting this person according to the level in which they can improve the economy, not because they
Absolute.
come from this
Mm-hmm.
community. Yes, so that is it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and for
Mm-hmm.
the dynasty, it means that we have these kind of leaders who have been inheriting, getting that kind of inheritance from their forefathers, like President Uhuru Kenyatta
Mm-hmm.
inherited from the father Jomo Kenyatta. So it's something like is it kingdomship kind of leadership?
Like a kingdom.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
it's like a kingdom because after Kenyatta, so it's some form of succession. So Kenyatta left it to
Mm-hmm.
Moi, and Moi nurtured Uhuru Kenyatta to ensure that he succeed him after that kind of leadership. Then after
Mm-hmm.
Uhuru Kenyatta wanted to ensure that he sent that kind of baton to the son of former President Moi, who's leading currently.
Mm-hmm.
So it's some form that kind of leadership is the one that we are trying to do away with it because we have very many tribes, we have many young leaders who are cropping up, and for William Ruto wants to change that kind of chain from this dynastic kind of politics. And for Raila Odinga, the Odinga family, they have been in the opposition, and you will discover that even these people from the opposition, it's as if they agree to behave in such a way that if you are in we are in government and you are in opposition, we can do business. So we with the emotions of the population. So they are called the dynasties. They've been the government benefiting from the government, either directly or indirectly. So that's why for us here, like for me here, we felt that maybe these people should relax and allow other Kenyans to participate in this process. So So for
Mhm.
Uhuru Kenyatta, they should retire the dynasty because they don't know how the local, these local people, the Kenyans, are suffering out there, the cost of living and everything. So we want somebody who
Mhm.
understands uh, the way of life of the people, those who have come through kinds of some form of challenges. So, and even Raila Odinga and
Actually.
even Gideon Moi, yes.
Mhm.
So these they are called the dynasties, yes. So and
I saw.
you discover that mhm,
Yes. No, go ahead.
yes, yeah. So you discover that for President Uhuru Kenyatta he has been using this kind of the Kenyatta family to control Mount Kenya region, that
Mhm.
the community. So, but the community now they have changed in fact, it's as if they are awake. They no longer want to be ruled by the Kenyatta family. So that's why they want other people from other places to change the way they live. So maybe there's some form of kind of protest that's going on there, even from the August 9th election. So these people from the Mount Kenya
Mhm.
voted overwhelmingly for William Ruto than for President Uhuru Kenyatta's is it product in quotes, favorite candidate, Raila Odinga. Yeah.
You sent this image when we talked about the role of the women and politics in Kenya.
Yes.
And this is one
Yes.
of the images that I say it's as if all the women should be politicians or to go to Kenya or to emulate the example of the Nakuru County, where they said it's a county of women leadership. I mean, we see Susan, who is
Yes.
my name, the governor, and then the representative,
Susan
Honorable
Kihika.
Lisa is a
Yes.
woman, and the senators, to all the parliamentarians, the
Lizo
MPs, all
Chelule.
are
Yes.
women in Nakuru. Yes.
Yes.
So tell us,
Yes.
I mean,
Yes. All of them. In fact,
mhm,
yes. It's so very exciting to see women having that kind of urge to lead, and that has been uh, it has appeared very very clearly, especially in Nakuru County. Nakuru County, you discover that we have a governor who is a woman, the woman representative. In fact, that position of woman representative was deliberate because initially
it's buffering.
leaders felt that maybe okay,
Mhm.
yeah,
It's
okay, so
it's really weird because the buffering is too much. I can really hear you. You see the break-ins that coming. I don't really know where it's coming from, but in any case, I hope that we were able to get an overview, just to know what is going on. So, when are we expecting the results, the official results, to come out, Patrick?
yeah, maybe because from the law is supposed to be 7 days. So between now and Tuesday next week,
Mm-hmm.
so maybe tomorrow or Monday. But Monday is the best time for them, or Sunday. But currently the result very tight, very tight.
Mm-hmm.
But from our analysis, there's that kind of projection that we did on this. We have the Kenya Kwanza and the Azimio. So for the Kenya
Mm-hmm.
Kwanza, we had that kind of a separate tallying center where
Mm-hmm.
we compare notes between the IBC and our this tallying, how it behaves. So there's that kind of projection that William Ruto is there's that possibility of him winning with 51, 52%, then Raila Odinga 48. Then, but
Quite close.
currently, yes,
I said it's
but
quite close.
currently you'll see, yes, yeah, it's very tight. In fact, at the moment here, you can't even predict. Yeah, there's that kind of in fact, that's why the reason behind government shutting down, tallying in these media stations, because it created a lot of anxiety among Kenyans. You see your candidate, Raila, performing very well, then after some time, Ruto performing very well. So there was some form of stress, fatigue, and everything. So maybe that contributed to the government trying to stop that kind of airing the results. But the good thing is that in some way, for those people who want to follow the proceedings, BBC came up with this. They try to tally the results. So there's that link where you can just click. Any person can tally the results of this election, the August 9 election. As long as you have that link, you download, then you do that kind of computation and tabulation, and everything is okay. I tried, although it's very tiresome because of the constituencies and everything, and the data involved and everything. So, but we have those experts who can just do it within some period of time. Then everything's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So who is your candidate? You must really have been
Yes.
working so
Yeah. My
tireless
yes. In
in
fact,
the counties for all this. Why? Because Pan African Daily has been missing because Patrick Kasarim has been busy with the elections and stuff like that. But he's gonna get back
yes.
to work as soon as possible. What are you thinking
Yes.
about
After
that?
election. Yeah.
Yes.
First of all, I'm very grateful because it's some form of betting. All my candidates after the election, we have the 6 candidates: the president, we have
Mm-hmm.
the governor, we have the senator, we have the women rep, we have the member of parliament, and the ward administrator. So those are 6.
Mm-hmm.
So out of 6, the one that I voted for, so far so good. So I've remained with the for presidency alone because for for area, the ward administrator, that candidate that I voted for won the election. The member of parliament won the election. The senator won the election. The woman representative, the governor won the election. That's why, in fact, this event should have been taken place yesterday, but because of the movement here and there, we had to postpone. It was some form of an emergency, so it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I will remain with the presidency, and my president is William Ruto, because I've been campaigning for him. I believe in what he's doing. He's very vibrant. He's a role model to young leaders, and what he's doing currently inspires a lot. That's why I've been campaigning for him daily, almost day and night and everything. So I'm very hopeful that he might win this election, and I'll be very happy. But if he failed to win the election, I can get disappointed. But life must move on, because leaders are just leaders. As long as they join together, they join hands, then they share their ideals and everything. That's the purpose of life. But the kind of
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we may be disappointed because the outcome can be very negative. But the best thing here is to understand that life must go on. There's nothing like as if you promote some form of violence or any other thing. So once your candidate has won, that's good for it. If it's some form of
That's
loss,
good
you're
for it. I mean, like, yes, when Ruto says he's building the economic model from bottom top, what does he actually
yes,
mean? What are the strategies he's putting, and what do you youth understand as building an economy from the scratch? What are the roadmap? What concrete examples did he say? Okay, like in this case, this is what I'm going to do. This is a strategy, and this is how it's going to work, and how we engage more youth in the parliament or give voices. What concretely did he mean when he just said? Because it's easy to just run the street and say we would change your life. They've always said it. They would always say it. But when they get there, do they do the same thing?
yes,
That's the problem.
yes. Yeah, yeah. But let me tell you, because William Ruto is very practical. In the
Okay.
last 3 years, he has been engaging local citizens directly into the villages. So we had a lot of conferences, meetings, meeting with the local villages down there.
Mm-hmm.
So there's nothing like a boardroom meeting where few leaders come together, then they discuss, they come up with a manifesto. No, the manifesto that we have for this Kenya Kwanza is people's best. These are the people who came up with this kind of manifesto. And
Okay.
the manifestos revolves around communities. We can have a community like the Luos who practice fishing. So they have
Yes.
their demand, what they need, what they want in their setup. Then we have those people, the pastoralists, like they know in the northern Kenya. So what do they really want? Pasture and water and everything. Then we have farmers. So different parts of this country participated in the creation of this manifesto. And even the
Mm-hmm.
youths, most of youths, maybe they want the SMEs, small scale, this kind of production. Then we have
Mm-hmm.
the issue of data, digital literacy and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Then sensitization, how to create instead of so for the youth. So instead of youth relying more on employment, they should also focus on creating employment to other members of the society. So that's what William Ruto has been doing, and it's so very exciting. If you could just go through that manifesto, it's so very positive. And it's not something that I came up one day and come up with that manifesto. No, it took almost 2 to 3 years. 3 years ago, he started that kind
Mm-hmm.
of conversation up to date. So he has been very busy with the people in the ground, and I'm very optimistic that the team that he has already engaged in, the experts, all these people will help in improving the economy, because at the current state, the economy is so very poor. It's at the bottom. In fact, it's not performing very well. Yeah, so we
Mm-hmm.
believe that when William Ruto comes in, we focus more in production, agricultural production. That's what we
Mm-hmm.
focus more. Then we move outwards. There.
Absolute. Yes.
Yeah. Then
Yeah.
in fighting corruption, because most of the time the opponents have been focusing more on criticizing the deputy president as the corrupt. But when you tell them to go to the court and testify or give evidence, they don't. They don't. It's you know, corruption has been politicized. So for William Ruto, want to ensure that how can you fight corruption? First of all, is to strengthen the judiciary, the police forces, and the criminal just system. So that's and then it will be independent, financially independent, and even the way they do things, they should be independent without even interference from the state. Unlike the current state, the government is the one that manipulate all these things. They can decide even to arrest you for political reason. So William Ruto wants to change that kind of narrative, that kind of leadership style.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Soto, we are live. You're asking whether this is live. No, this is not a rebroadcast. This is live. As you can see, Patrick has put on some weight. He's shining his teeth at that golden white.
Oh,
In a while that we didn't see you, Patrick. Yes, you've put on some weight. Do you have the impression too? I mean, I think when
I
you're
don't
in
know.
the field,
I thought maybe I
in the countryside, you must have cut down, but you're looking so gorgeous. Like everything was just good with the elections,
thank
isn't
you.
it?
Yeah, sometimes
We
yes.
go ahead.
There's been a lot of challenges. There's been a lot of challenges here and there, because when you go doing politics, it affects both emotional and physical and everything. But I don't know.
Absolutely.
Maybe it has been very positive on my side. I don't know. But maybe just
Mhm,
being optimistic about the outcome of the election and everything. But once this
mhm.
one is done, we'll go back to our normal life.
Yes, normal life must begin, Patrick. So when is the normal life on Pan African Daily, according to you, going to begin as we start our daily broadcast, particularly after the expo in Germany? We're just going to go back into our educational mentoring project that we already started with our young executive, and also getting our professors and scholars back live to continue our daily teaching and education and building ourselves, empowering one another, particularly the youth, to give them the tools that they need to be able to develop themselves, to change their lives, to create jobs, and not to look for jobs. And I think with this kind of policy, we were talking about the diaspora being so concerned to, apart from just building the bottom top, what about the diaspora? The diaspora is very, very engaged in investment on the continent, in coming back home, not just investing as foreign development investors, but they actually want to contribute and get engaged more in building the Africa that we want. So you're talking about, William, it's like, I want to build the economic from scratch, but how? Does his foreign policies actually involve the diaspora that are looking to come back? Has there been anything on how to integrate, how to give them citizen? Nothing about the state region, I guess.
Yeah, like from our side, because I don't know how our opponents are doing, but what we want to engage the people from the diaspora currently, we give them roles, the representative, they become part and parcel of the government. So we have a shadow government in the diaspora, because these are the people who generate a lot of revenue. In fact, in Kenya here, most those people are living in the diaspora generate a lot of revenue in terms of the the amount of money that comes into our country. So there's a way in which we can tap this kind of revenue, and then we engage them. They can share even skills. They create that kind of knowledge. Once you are in the diaspora, you gain a lot from that experience out there. Then they can just come here in Africa or in Kenya and try to experiment on what they have been taught out there. So it should be some form of symbiotic relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And how they can benefit is through but participating with them directly, engaging with them directly. They should be part and parcel of the government.
I have a
Issue
comment
of
here.
visas and everything.
This would be very interesting for you to read. Um, Imhotep is saying, can you read the comment? Can you read the comment?
Yes, the Stein Ruto promised wheelbarrows and Odinga promised 6,000 shillings. These are lies. Kenyatta promised laptop did little. Yeah, this is a very good question. Yeah, you see, uh, maybe you can just give it that kind of yes. So let me start with the Kenyatta, President Uhuru Kenyatta. In 2013, in fact, I never supported the Uhuru Ruto government. I was with the Raila Odinga, and they promised laptops. It was some form of ambitious project. You know, once they assume office, every kid will have a laptop. It was very very good, very. But I don't know what really happened. Maybe they focus more on other projects that are very important. But after that, something happened in that 5 years. So some of the promises that they felt that they could attain, but it ended up being uh, unfulfilled. But and it's so strange that William Ruto is the one carrying all this baggage, the unfulfilled promises, instead of President Uhuru Kenyatta, because Uhuru Kenyatta is the driver, is the one who gives the mandate, and William Ruto is like a wife.
Yes.
So it's so strange. Yes, it's so strange that
Why?
they blame wife than the head of that house. So like
Mhm.
in the previous politics, in the 2022 politics, they have been accusing William Ruto of not fulfilling the project, the government project, and it's President Uhuru Kenyatta who is the leader. supposed to ensure that all these projects are fulfilled. So William Ruto carried that burden of the laptops, the stadiums, and even the dams and everything. But William Ruto promised that once he assumed power, because he will be the driver of that government, he'll ensure that his project or his promises has been fulfilled. So maybe the problem should be President Uhuru Kenyatta, but not William Ruto. And this is the moment for William Ruto. Then let me come to Willie Barrow and Uhuru Raila Odinga, 6,000 stipend. So for Willie Barrow, you can use even the dove. These are just symbol. When you talk about Willie Barrow, does not mean that every citizen will have to be bought. They should have Willie Barrows. No, these are just symbols to ensure that we are focusing more at the bottom, where many people are dealing with the normal way of life. If you go to the street, you must find wheelbarrows. In the farming, in this for agriculture, you find all the construction site wheelbarrows. So those people at the bottom, they're uneducated. Most of them, the large percentage, almost 60%, these are those people who are struggling with life. So the symbol of wheelbarrow symbolizes that kind of the community, or that kind of atmosphere that are struggling with life. Unlike those people at the top, we can use even the aeroplane. What if somebody uses aeroplane or these jets? It doesn't mean that if I'm vying for president and my symbol is a jet. Doesn't mean that every Kenyan will have a jet. No, it means that maybe I'll be focusing more on those people who have money. They have almost everything because of the jet. But we have very few people who have these jets. So the difference between the wheelbarrow and even these other symbols, like for Raila Odinga uses orange, these oranges. Doesn't mean that when he becomes president, he will distribute oranges. No, these are just symbols. So those people are talking about wheelbarrow, and I remember there was a time a student asked William Ruto why he decided to come up with this wheelbarrow narrative that has been overtaken by event in the 16th century. But Ruto told him that even up to date, people still use wheelbarrows to do their businesses. So it's not something that is not strange. Then when it comes to 6,000, the 6,000 stipend, 6,000 Kenya shilling, that's something like six $60. That's $60 per month. $60 per month for those Kenyans who are struggling. I'm trying to imagine uh, how will you pay rent with that kind of money? So it's some form of some form of handout, and it's something that it will make people very lazy. They don't want to participate. They just want to sleep waiting for that kind of money. So for me here, that $60 handout is it doesn't promote a growth. In fact, it will make Kenyans rely more on the government than these Kenyans instead of participating actively in this activity. So I prefer William Ruto because he wants to ensure that these Kenyans participate actively in the growth of the economy instead of relying on the government. So the difference is like day and night. For Raila Odinga wants the trickle down, where the government um, collect taxes, then they distribute in bits. The people struggle at the bottom. So people becomes dependent rather than trying to ensure that they grow the economy. So that's the difference. So I don't think there's a lie there. Maybe the lie will be for Raila Odinga because he wants to use that kind of handout to manipulate Kenyans so that they can vote, they can get those free things, which will never happen. Even if Raila Odinga becomes president, he will never fulfill that promise because it's very expensive. Every month, Yes, yes,
Was it talking to a particular group of people, like we say maybe the disabled, the elderly who can no longer fend for themselves? I mean, there should be a social economic benefit for some particular group of people and class of people, like youth. Maybe they're going to school, they get some compensation, parents get something as support, or the elderly or the handicapped, the disabled or the special needs. Um, or women that are nursing mothers who can actually, was it a particular, because I think in that policy, but when you just say handouts of $60 a month to everybody, I mean,
yes.
how would this even function?
Not everybody. In fact, yeah, that's something that they've really struggled to hide because they want to ensure that every as if that kind of money will be distributed equally to all Kenyans. No, once they get power, they'll change the narrative. It'll only be focusing more on the disadvantaged. There are very few people, and in
Mm-hmm,
fact, Raila Odinga is in government. And Uhuru Kenyatta has been using this kind of, it's called the help age, the old age. These people who have attained 70, 65 years and above. So, and they're very disadvantaged. So there's that kind of monthly kind of stipend. But sometimes they fail even to give this kind of money to these people, the old age, the elderly people.
mm-hmm,
So I'm trying to imagine how these $60 will be distributed if they are failed in this other process. How will they manage this
mm-hmm.
$60 to these other people? And I'm very sure they are planning to that there's that kind of manipulation. They are not clear on who will get this $60 monthly stipend because they want to manipulate them in such a way that just vote, because he knows very well if he become very open and say that this amount of money will go to special needs only, not all the population. Very few people will vote for him, but he decided to generalize it, and it's so very funny because some Kenyans just buy that kind of narrative. They know very well that they are being deceived. They know it's true that they are being deceived, but they feel like let it just go with it. I know they will regret it. Yeah.
It is very
And
sad because nowhere in the world where or in I mean, shouldn't they be talking about, clean water, mothers, children, orphanage, street children, that's
yes,
that kind of a hustler, like you said, in terms of that. But
yes.
who is really that kind of a Kenyan to that would just think, oh, if I vote for him, then he gives me, it's some kind of like vote for me and get an envelope of 60, very clear and open like this. And that's it.
Yes, in fact, that's corruption. Yeah, in reality that's corruption because
Mm-hmm,
you can't just say vote for me because I'll give you $60 or 6,000 Kenyan shilling monthly. That is an open form of corruption.
it
Uh,
is, I think.
but this
Yeah.
it is. But these people feel as if it's normal. So corruption, in fact, started during the campaign period. So for him, Raila Odinga usually say that it's very clean. In Swahili, they say it's ni mweupe kama pamba, but he has been sanitizing the corrupt. If I'm very corrupt and I'm in the opposition, he'll make sure that I suffer. But if I embrace him,
Mm-hmm.
in fact, I'll be treated like an angel. I saw there's
Absolutely.
another politician. Yeah, that's
Mm.
what we are. Those people they are in government. They have been so very lucky, unlike those people in the opposition. Like currently, William Ruto is currently in the opposition. So most of his supporters have been suffering because of that target from the government, corruption allegation, and everything, attacks. So the corruption has been weaponized politically
Mm-hmm.
to suppress the opponents. Yeah.
We are very thankful, to be honest with you, for getting this update, and I hear El Proudness is also congratulating and thanking. Thank you very much, Dr. and Brother Kasurim,
Yes.
for the updates about this very important moment in Kenya. Of course, we do know that issues are coming up daily, like this situation in Dortmund. We're still going to get Sister Nanada that is going to come to empower us on the need why we must get together, unite, connect, and be at peace with one another. That's why talking on the issue of Kenyan Decides 2022, we know what happened in 2013, which led up to a whole long distance till 2017. And we saw the handshake that Kenya actually gave, and we were
Yes.
like, or Africans globally were like, this is the role model that we would want. Because before, you can agree with me, in the past, or even in the past elections, Kenyans would have been on the street now, even before the elections were pronounced, from the opposition
Yes.
burning things or rioting, or not just Kenyans. I mean, every corner, even in Europe where
Everywhere.
the elections are. But now we're getting into a kind of a political academic level on the continent where the youths are saying yes, it is okay, but anything that happens, we're going to go with it. Paul, thank you so very much for saying our studio lightings is very bad. I know it's a technical issue that we've been trying to deal with it for the past 1 week, and changing the studios and every sort. We do know that the light is very bad, but the information that we're saying here is very important to us, and the communication, the conversation, the facts, the point that we're bringing here. I think by next week we should be able to get better results about our technique in the studio, and yes, and we also have this technical issues with buffering, cuttings, low volumes and stuff. So we actually don't know whether it's really a studio issue or it's just some invincible manipulative. As we know, the situation has been, I just get a kind of a red light skin something, and I see it like if
Yes.
you compare my stereo light with Patrick, is totally two different things, as if the light outside. But we're gonna get that fixed. What is more important to us is the message. To be honest with you, we say it all the time. We do know that we are also gorgeous. We look so beautiful that nothing else can even change it. Under every circumstances that we find ourselves, we have to find a way to actually come out, give out information which we need and which is very relevant to our people. That's why please just ignore the lights here and focus on the conversation. We're going to get everything fixed. And that's also one of the reasons why we keep calling on our fundraisers to actually support us to get professional quality studios, even though our studio is first class studio, but we just been having experience in these technical challenges for the past 1 week. But just listen and get the message. That's what is very important. Okay. So I thank you so much for that feedback. Yes, because we also had been asking. I asked yesterday, because even myself after the rebroadcast, I look at it, I said, this is just some red kind of nonsense here. This is not how
Yes.
reddish we are always in our studio. But we just have to bear with that, carry on with that, put on our smiles, and everything would get better. But right now, the message is very important. Um, and while we'll get our studios up to date, okay? Yeah, Patrick. So while we're waiting on
Yes.
Nadada, we want Patrick to just conclude and tell us something more. What is it that you really want us to take away while we wait? Do you actually know when the elections are going to be proclaimed?
The results, maybe it might be tomorrow, Sunday or Monday. But currently, in fact, they're trying to finalize all the form 34. They've already finished the 34A. You have the 34B and C. So all those
Mm-hmm.
forms, they're almost finalizing on it. Then when it comes to transition, we have that
Mm-hmm.
part of transition. President Uhuru Kenyatta is exiting the race, so not to hand over power. So there's that soft kind of transition that the leadership they're trying to do. It decided today, and it's so very positive. so very positive that there's that kind of smooth transition, unlike in other countries where it's very, so very chaotic. So it's so very good that that transition has really it will help Kenyans know the change of leadership and everything. Then in terms about this election, I'm very grateful because very young people are getting into parliament leadership positions. More than 30 young people, uh, more than less than no more than 50 or so. So it's so good because the more young people join leadership position, the more they discover themselves, and also they champion for affairs, African affairs and other things. So if you are young Pan-African, participate more in politics because that's where leadership is. There's no way you can just talk and talk and talk. Try to be very proactive, participate actively in politics because most of these Pan-Africanists out there, they were once politicians and they were presidents and everything. So once you participate more in these political affairs of your country, you can you can also add more stories about Pan-African, the unity of Africa and everything. And that's what even Julius Malema is doing. He started so very well because he is participating actively in politics. Yeah, so that is it. I can also add about the finalizing of this election electoral process. It's so very positive because although there's some elements of the opposition that are saying about the rigging and all other things, but we discover that the electoral body, the IBC, they are saying that is not nothing like rigging or all these other things. So there's some here hiccup here and there. So the best thing here is to ensure that we complete all this process and the Kenyans move forward without further much ado. Hope you are around. Hello.
You are watching the Pan-African Daily TV with Dr. Susan Tatah. The Africa we want: unity, consciousness, our culture, our spirituality, our history. One Africa for Africans worldwide. Motherland's calling its diaspora home. Join my voice. Join my team. Join my campaign. Campaign 21 hashtag 1 million subscribers on the Pan-African Daily TV YouTube. Be a volunteer. Apply now. Be the new Africa.